All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. Yeah, Jen, I know it may not necessarily be morning everywhere when people are watching or listening in syndication, but nonetheless, here we are with another episode. I'm Adam Smith with Just the Tips Coaching, and with me, as always, is our marketing director and one of our other coaches, Jen Wayboer. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, Adam.
Let the eye rolling go. What am I? I can't even get the word.
I don't even know.
It might be the cold weather. For those of you that aren't in the Denver market, it is May 3rd. It looks like we're getting a blizzard outside. It's Looney Tunes. It's ridiculous. So we've got a really cool guest for you guys today, a repeat guest. And as you guys know, we're rather particular about who we let on the podcast, especially considering we get booked out more than a year in advance. And to get a sequel, as it were, is nothing short of a really cool opportunity, in this case for Damian Wise. Good morning, Damian.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. It's been a while. Love the hat. I know before we went live, you were talking about helping some buyers in the Greeley area. Is that a relic of that? Were you up there for?
No, we're in the Wild West right now. Adam, it's you're tossing out offers and hoping something sticks, and you're hoping the lending sticks together. So it's great to have good lenders like you around to make sure that doesn't have any problems at closing. But it is the Wild West out there. It is just crazy stuff going on in the market.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And I don't want to start off any particular episode of our podcast here after, I don't know, 150 of them on a sour note, but, let's certainly be realists. Certainly the three of us and those of you watching or listening live or in syndication. What does that mean, Damian? What kind of shit are you seeing right now?
Well, in our market, so I work Weld County, Larimer County, Boulder County. We're seeing multiple, Wild West type scenarios in every price point, from 300, 350. Good luck. I mean, you might see 10 homes one week, and they're all going to go under contract for the most part. But even the surprising part is, even in the 1 million up to the 2 millions, we're seeing multiple offers, cash offers going, $40,000, $50,000 over list price, which, it's a broken record at this point. Everybody knows about it. Everybody complains about it. But the good news is, it'll pass. We'll get through this. The main point for all you realtors out there is just to, hang in there, get back on the horse, like we say. But, I've been working a lot in Greeley because some of my clients are getting priced out of Boulder County. So they're going to go up to Greeley. They're going to go up to Loveland, where the prices are just a little bit better. You can get a little more for your money around that 360 point. And it seems like it'd be quite a bit of inventory comparatively to other places.
All right, and these are a couple of places that are outside of what's defined as the Denver metro area, for those of you that aren't familiar. And there are still places, within a commute distance away, where we're talking about that. In the metro area, the average single-family home is like 550, 554, something in that range, 575. I can't even remember now. So we're certainly on a track where it's unique here. Jen, this kind of thing should put a little smile on your face. I mean, Damian's talking about price points that are, a couple $100,000 lower than what goes on in Denver, and that's in, within a stone's throw, as it were.
It's true.
I'm trying to throw in some country lingo for Damian's sake here.
Thanks.
A stone's throw.
Don't let the hat fool you. I'm a punk rocker.
Y'all, all y'all. It's absolute chaos. Damian, I think one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle that I'm seeing these days is a lot of frustration with people that are repping buyers, and a lot of people that would prefer to be representing sellers.
Right.
Is this something that you're focused on? Or are you shifting?
Yeah, I've always been focused on listings. I worked for Keller Williams, and the best thing I ever learned from the Gary Keller was listing, leads, and leverage. Um, you start with listings, and then you get the leads come from the listings, and then you leverage out what you don't want to do. So for me, it's always been go after the listings, and those buyers will come, and once in a while you get to do both on the same one, but very rare. But yeah, if you're not looking for listings right now, you're going in the wrong direction.
All right. So, okay. So this is good news. And this is really positive for our usual audience. Well, maybe not our typical mortgage originator audience because they don't represent sellers, only buyers and owners. But certainly for all of the real estate agents, still the majority of our coaching clients are real estate agents. We've focused a lot on how to shift your lead gen activities from buyers to sellers. What's working for you?
What's working for me is my database. We always talk about database. I know you're a great supporter of that. Stay in touch with your database. Call that database at least once a quarter. See who they know. If they're on the fence, ask them why. Why would you be on the fence in a market like this? This is a guarantee. And the typical answer is what? Well, where am I going to go?
Where am I going to go? Nothing to buy.
Well, everybody who's taken my advice and listed now and gone through it, they got a house.
I hear Little Rock's nice.
Little Rock.
You can get a house there.
It happens. Like I said, if you're a buyer's agent, you gotta stick with it and stay focused and go look for those listings that aren't on the market. If you're going to represent your client the best way, you're working hard. This is not an easy market to work in, but you have to be willing to go out and find that business. Maybe go through maybe you did CMAs and they didn't list. Maybe you go back, as far back as you can, 5 years, and see if they listed, see if they sold or not. Expireds, those are great ones. For sale by owners, they're tough, but you know what? They got a common thing about that you have.
Yeah, there's some classic Keller Williams shit coming out here now.
I'm telling you,
yeah.
It works.
It does.
It might not be comfortable, but you just got to be willing to go do that.
It depends on the person. I would agree with you. I don't think it's comfortable, although we got to step out of our comfort zone in our lead gen activities for sure. But we come across people. There's one, Jen knows who I'm talking about, that we've been coaching for probably a year.
Yeah.
He loves that shit. FSBOs, cold calling, expireds. This floats his boat. He would rather do that than talk to people he knows.
Oh, good on you. I'm the other way around.
I think 99% would agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like making those cold calls, but, if I'm struggling and I got a family to feed, what am I going to do? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what it takes to find that inventory that's not on the market yet.
Well, and we constantly talk about, Jen and I have a colleague who once said in her brief career as a mortgage originator that she gets anxious when the phone rings. And I get anxious when the phone isn't ringing. Mm-hmm. And when it isn't ringing, I pick it up and make it ring somewhere else.
That's right.
Yeah, so, I do get it. But go on, I digress.
You got it. But the easiest conversation to have is your friends and family, and those people are going to, work with you and say, listen, I've got 6 buyers out here and they're looking for this. Who do you know that's thinking of selling? And it's an easy conversation to have, but it also just keeps you top of mind when that time does come, when things are a bit more normal. Any touch is a good touch, is what I always say.
Oh, I like that.
I say that.
I'm gonna see if that works with my wife.
There you go. Oh, well, be careful with that.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Hey, Damian told me any touch was a good touch.
Any touch is a good touch.
All right.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
That might get me off the hook if I smack her bottom in the grocery store, but I doubt it. Damian said it was a good idea. I'm blaming you, buddy. All right,
but
so
she's gonna remember you. So remember.
Yeah, absolutely, and you too, for that matter, pal. All right, so we're in this kooky market. I mean, we're talking about major metropolitan areas having, 10% of what would be considered a balanced inventory, a 6-month inventory. And we're talking about how difficult it is to be representing buyers, particularly if they're not buying $10 million homes, because there's nothing available. We're getting into bidding wars. We're having this kind of competition. So we get into a lot of headspace where people want to shift their lead gen activities from buyers to sellers, and it certainly makes sense. And historically, we've always known, regardless of what the market is, listings bring buyers. If you have listings, you're gonna find buyers. That's a no-brainer, no matter what the market conditions are. Obviously, right now, finding buyers isn't all that big a challenge. The big challenge is that we've got 25,000 agents in Colorado and 2,500 listings. That's where our challenge lies. So we talk about shifting our lead gen into sellers, which is a great idea because it's different work. I don't want to say it's less work. It may be less brain damaging work. It may be less psychologically and emotionally taxing work. I mean, if you're watching a buyer lose out on 30 offers that they've made, that's going to take a toll on you. There's no question about it. If you're trying to help a seller sift through 30 offers, that's hard work, but it's not psychologically taxing.
No.
All right.
Exciting work.
Yeah, absolutely, but hard work nonetheless. So we want to shift our lead gen activities to sellers. I love the idea of going back through your past CMAs. Brilliant stuff. If you ever talk to somebody about selling a house and you're not staying in touch with them, then shame on you. Remember, if you're not in touch with your past clients, there's somebody else's prospects. That's a big one. Mm-hmm. But I do love this idea of going back through the CMAs. If they ever had a psychological trigger about selling a home, maybe the next one is right around the corner. Mm-hmm. So we've been talking about what other psychological triggers exist that lead to the selling of homes. And then what people are involved with those psychological triggers. And we did this en masse last week with a couple of coaching clients. And Jen, you may have to help me out here. The one I've really kind of been focusing on is like financial planners. I think there's a big gap right now in homeowners understanding that again, a certain age group, a certain category of people, but I think there are a lot of homeowners right now that are using the home as an investment vehicle towards retirement, right? Mortgage is going down, home value is going up. Once I have enough equity in my property, I can sell it, buy my retirement home for cash, and move on with that stage of my life. Maybe that home is in Arkansas or Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I can't do it with a twang to accommodate your hat there, Damian. I'm sorry, I tried. So I think that there's an inherent misunderstanding of where people are using that home as an investment vehicle in order to get closer to retirement, and the fact that we're not bridging the gap between the fact that, considering the supply and demand issue right now and the rate at which homes are appreciating, right? We talk about what the average single family home in the Denver area is worth. Then I may have that money now. I already have the equity I need to take my retirement and buy my forever home or we joke a lot about forever home too. I can't remember what the joke was last week. Oh, an urn. That's the only legit forever home is the urn that we're going to put your ashes in. Okay. But the term of forever home. And I think that we're missing out on this group of people, a large group of people, baby boomers, who may not understand that they've already got the equity they need to pull the trigger on that retirement. Mm-hmm. So I do think financial planners are great. I'm trying to remember, Jen, and help me out, what other psychological triggers we had come up with while we were kicking ideas around that lead to the selling of homes so that we can focus in on sellers in our lead gen activities.
I think we talked about like divorce attorneys.
That's a good one.
That referral relationship.
Yeah, that definitely leads to the selling of homes.
Estate lawyers, divorce lawyers, any type of attorney is a great place to start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We talked about HR departments for people that are getting close to retirement.
That's a good point. Yeah, we have a client we're working on right now decided to take early retirement. Granted, that's throwing a wrench in his works for his mortgage. But yeah, that's a good one, and that's somebody refinancing, not somebody selling or buying. But yeah, HR departments know people who are gearing up towards retirement, getting close to it, who have their full pensions. HR people are a good one. Yeah.
We talked a lot about kids leaving home, as you know, high school graduates if they want to downsize after the kids are out of the home, or if they're having kids and need a bigger home. So both ends of that spectrum.
I think you guys are missing a big one, though.
Hit us.
I think you're missing the investor, the people who never the first time home investor who's living in their own home and now they've got this ton of equity. I never recommend using your home like a piggy bank, but you can also borrow money at a pretty low rate. You can also downsize at the same time, keep your current home, make that a primary residence, and escape the big down payment. But everything, I don't know about. I'm sure Denver's this way. Boulder County is definitely this way. Is like rentals are cash flowing like crazy.
Oh, sure. Housing shortage anyway, you slice it.
So, yeah. So the people I sold houses to 5 years ago who said, I want this to be my first house, and in a couple of years I'm going to buy another one, and this will be a rental. Those are the people that I'm calling.
Yeah.
And I know you need to buy another one, and it's probably, you're buying pretty high right now, but if we can find some stuff off market, maybe find you a duplex. Wow. Talk about creating wealth for these people. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's really cool.
Yeah, Jen, I really like your idea when it comes to using that as a tool for some group comment farming. I mean, damn, and over the course of this month, how many frickin' social media posts are we going to see of people graduating high school?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right? And a lot of these could be youngest kids. A lot of these could be leading to empty nesters. A lot of people who may be looking to sell, downsize, relocate, whatever the case may be. Yeah, that's a really sharp one. That's for those of you that are familiar with our program, that is a great Facebook group comment farming technique. Set that search up for yourself to go look for people whose kids are graduating high school this month. Good tip, Jen. Hey, good tip. Yeah, that one's razor sharp.
Even prom, because we're a little bit further out from graduation, you can start looking for whose kids are going to prom. So they might be a year out from selling if it's junior prom, but still start reaching out and forming the relationships with those people.
Yeah, especially through those techniques, through comment farming, through the Facebook Messenger scripts. Yep, good stuff. All right. All right, so Damian, give us your long-term take. So, and Jen's gonna hate this shit, but I'm I'm still a little doom and gloom about this in the sense that we've got 8%. I mean, I'm only real familiar with the Denver metro area, and I know this is true in every major metropolitan area. All right, so we've got like 8% of what would be considered a 6-month inventory, a balanced inventory, a healthy inventory. And I don't think we're going to solve that over a 10-year period. We can't build fast enough. We can't kill off old people fast enough, whatever. I mean, we need housing. People need a place to live. So we're not going to get to a 6-month inventory in 10 years. And because of the supply and demand issue, we're seeing this insane growth in the value. Again, that's going to continue in that time frame. Let's be conservative about that and call it 10% year over year. So 10 years from now, we're still in a housing shortage. The average single-family home is now worth $1.2 million in the Denver metro area. Don't even ask me about, say, Northern California. And while we try to keep pace in the lending industry, we can't. Conforming loan limits go up about 6% a year. So now we're talking about a home buying population in 10 years needing $250,000 to put down on a home and $250,000 in household income to service the remainder of the debt. And I don't think we're going to have it. So do we literally get to a point where only 1%ers can buy homes? We're increasing this gap between the haves and have-nots into a chasm. Or are there solutions on the horizon? Or can we find a way where the average single-family home in Denver does not cost $1.2 million, and the millennial aging into the home buying process in that time frame can actually afford it?
Just speaking about our local municipalities, there's a lot of stuff going on, trying to make homes affordable. However they do it, they've got, we've got this'll home programs in Boulder, and we have all these programs, but the problem is they're income limited. Most of that affordable housing stuff is so income limited. It's there's a lot of people that can get them, and those are all a small percentage. What are they? 7% of 7% of a development is low income.
Maybe.
Something like that. I think you're right. I think we're going to be pushing people out of these urban markets. Let's call it like Denver. Denver, they're going to be moving out into Thornton. They're going to be moving out into Brighton. It's going to be expanding. That's where the building's going to have to come from. We just don't have this. I mean, we're running out of space. Boulder ran out of space years ago.
Sure.
The only thing they can do is tear down an existing house and put up another one. That's all you can do for inventory. This Longmont, we're about built out up here. Very little space to grow into. So I do see, what I'm feeling right now is, like I said, I've been selling some homes up in Greeley, out in Weld County, and a lot of them are just people that are getting priced out of Boulder County, getting priced out of Longmont pretty quickly. Our average sale price is right up there too, about 5.5. And, we still have some homes, some condos, townhomes you can get in the mid threes. But, if you want a house with a 2-car garage, you need to go up to Platteville and maybe Frederick, Firestone, Berthoud, just on the outskirts. And pretty soon, we're all going to be growing together in one big area.
Yeah, the Fort Denver, Boulder Springs metro area. Yeah.
And with the cost of building materials right now, it's not going any. Prices aren't going to stop.
No, we talk about that too. It's so expensive, the land, the taps, the materials, the labor to build a house, that when people balk at a $600,000 price tag for an entry-level home, well, guess what? That's the bare minimum for the builder to make any money on it. Mm-hmm. So, I get it.
It's a tough spot. It's a really tough spot. I hate to say it. I would hate to say it, but the way this is going to slow down is interest rates. They're going to have to bump them up to slow this thing down, slow this runaway freight train.
That'll curb the demand a little, right? No question. Obviously, it doesn't help with the supply. I don't know. It seems right. It's going to take a room full of people smarter than you and me to figure out how to do this, how to solve this problem.
To all you realtors out there, you got to ride the waves. You got to get on that horse for that bull for 8 seconds anyway. You just got to ride it. You got to ride it out. This happens, and it's always really, really bad at first, but people settle into it, and people might decide not to move to Colorado. That's one of the parts of it. They can't afford it.
Well, it does seem that it's slowing and shifting. I think we're starting to get better. I may be out of date with my stats, but it does seem like we're getting into a point where we're getting closer to the number of people moving out of Colorado reaching the number of people moving into Colorado. Mm-hmm. That may help us, but certainly doesn't impact New York, LA, Atlanta, Houston, Detroit, Miami, all these other urban corridors that are experiencing the same problem.
Have you looked at buying property down south?
I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
If you can go to Alabama or Montgomery, or you can go to Mississippi and those places down there, and wow, it might be a good place to invest because their prices have not caught up with their rents.
Yeah, I agree. And truth be told, I'm working on a property in Myrtle Beach right now. That's why that is fresh in my mind. And this is going to sting a little bit for you people in real urban corridors and certainly in the local market. New construction, 4-bed, 3-bath, 2 blocks from the beach, $250,000.
Boom.
Yeah.
Can you VRBO it?
Oh, and are you kidding? All the live long day. Hey, there's a country saying I'm able to throw in there. All the live long day. Yeah, no, that'll be the plan, is to do some short-term rental work on it. Absolutely. Maybe go down once a month.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's true. This problem is not impacting more rural areas. It is not impacting. I do think it's relatively limited to major urban corridors and the surrounding areas.
Yeah. Well, here's a funny story. A dear friend of mine lives in Iowa, Mason City, Iowa. We share a coach. Together, and the coach called me and said, "Hey, you might want to give her a call. She's getting into some new territory. She's been in the business almost 30 years. She's like, have you heard of anything called an escalation clause?"
The hell is that?
She's like, I've seen my first one and I don't know how to handle it. So, yeah, a little funny story. It's not everywhere. You know, obviously, you know, we're blessed to be in a really hot market, you know, as far as the industry that we've chosen to work in. But being a consumer in this market, I can see is super frustrating. But you know, it's not exactly everywhere. So don't let that fool you sometimes.
I think you bring up a great point, though, about riding the wave, though. This is the time that realtors have to shine and show how they can keep their buyers calm through this whole process and how they can guide them through it. And, you know, it's really going to show who's got the skills and who doesn't when it comes to helping buyers get into homes.
I think it's probably about 20%. 20%.
Yeah, we talk about that number.
That's true. But Jen's right. Obviously, a lot of education, a lot of information, a lot of managing expectations. These kinds of things are going to be really, really important representing buyers for a good number of years to come.
Yep.
Yeah, very, very true. And any further enlightenment, anything else eye-opening for you, Jen? You're this target that we keep talking about. I know we ask a lot of questions and we get a lot of questions answered, and a lot of it's synonymous, you know, week in, week out for somebody who's aging into that home buying process, first-time home buying process, but I just can't imagine that there aren't other things you want to know.
I think remote work is going to be a blessing because I might end up, you know, living in Kansas and commuting into the office. Just kidding. I was
going to say that's a long drive, even 3 days a week.
That sounds terrible.
You're going to need a hat in Kansas.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. You will need a hat.
I did grow up in Texas, so I have boots somewhere.
Okay.
I'll have to find them if I'm going to end up in Kansas.
But no hat?
No.
How are people advising buyers that are, you know, I have my way of advising buyers. They say, well, I want to wait. I think the bottom's going to drop out, all this stuff, which, you know, yep, you rolled your eyes. I get it. You know, I told them, listen, what you're looking at right now, and let's just call it a new build. What you're looking at right now, they're raising those prices up, you know, $20,000 every time they release 6 more.
Oh yeah, it's probably about $3,000 a day. Right.
What's the cost going to wait? What's the cost of waiting them?
Well, and here's the problem. I agree with those people that at some point the market is going to shift, it's going to correct, and prices are going to drop. However, that could be 20 years from now. They'll probably drop down to whatever the prices are 15 years from now. And who the hell knows what interest rates are going to be at that time. If you are waiting for, this is obviously very consumer driven, and yeah, Jen, I know we're going to run over time, so just bear with me. If you are a consumer and you are contemplating purchasing a home sometime in the next, literally 20 years, anytime from today till 20 years from today, do it now. I understand there are a lot of things like, well, I want to save more money for a down payment. You're chasing the sunset. Home prices are going up faster than you can save. I want to see what interest rates are going to do. Over that time frame, long term, they're going to go up. I want to see what home prices do. Long term, over that time frame, not only are they going to go up, they're going to go way up. If you are contemplating the purchase of a home in the next couple of decades, do it now. This is
Call Damian.
Yeah. Oh, did we forget that part? Yeah. Look,
1960. Okay, yeah.
he actually is the only real estate agent in Colorado. Actually, he's the tallest because he's 6'4", 6'10" with that hat. So you'll be able to see him pretty much no matter where you are. But yeah, in reality, the interest rates are not going down. Home prices are not going down, and frankly, the opposite could be really, really detrimental. In reality, a year from now, that $400,000 house could easily cost $450,000. And while the rates are so low today and you qualify for that $400,000 house, a year from now, you might only qualify for $350,000. So just based solely on what interest rates do, you get a reasonable cost of living adjustment in your salary, whatever. It's going to continue on this trend for a while. So yeah, if you are in the market, as it were, please get moving. Pretty please, with sugar on top. Jen, I mean you too.
Yeah, I know.
All right. All right. So yes, I know that we're running over. Damian, as always, give our audience the highlights on how they can reach out to you, brother.
You can reach me at my direct cell phone number, 720-600-1960. You can check out our website, www.thewiseteam.com. And we'd love to hear from you. Let us know how we can help you. It's not just about selling homes. We want to consult you and give you a game plan.
Game plan's a good thing to have these days. Education, yeah. And we did have a previous guest on the show talk about some of this preemptive stuff, Jen. Saving, paying off your debt. And these are the only solutions we can come up with right now for those people over the next 10 years. All right, Jen, hit us with the text code. Let's highlight the mastermind event. We do have a few tickets left, I believe.
Yeah, so you can text TIPS to 63566 to get past episodes of the show, to reach out if you want to be a guest on the show, to get our weekly Little Tips. Every week we put out a new Little Tip video. You can get a copy of Adam's book, Just the Tips.
Oh, that looks nice. I see you have a copy, yeah?
Yeah. You can book a free hour of coaching with us. But the biggest thing right now, I would say, is you can get more information on the Mile High Mastermind. There are some tickets left, but it is very limited. It's September 24th, 25th. Looking like it'll be at DU, which we're really excited about. We've got some great content, some real workshop-y type classes, so you'll actually leave with things to implement in your business instead of a notebook full of notes that you go home and forget what you're supposed to do. So text TIPS to 63566.
Very cool. Thank you. And Damian, thank you again for taking the time.
Damian.
I know knocking out 30 minutes for this on a Monday morning is no picnic, so we do appreciate it.
I love it. Thank you very much for having me. Good to see you guys again.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to run the extra. You guys don't go anywhere. For everyone that caught us live or is watching or listening in syndication, thank you for tuning in. If you do want to catch us live, you can catch How I Met Your Mortgage Mondays at 10:30 Mountain Time. And obviously you can catch the repeats on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. They're all over the place. And our
website.
On our website, justthetipscoaching.com, and obviously the podcast on both Apple and Spotify. And we'll see you guys next week.